So we'll start this over. Okay.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. My name is Adam. That is Michael over there.
Yes.
And this is our new podcast that we're calling the Cryptwins, where we talk about different monsters from all over the country. And this, our first airing, is going to be in
Florida,
because that's where we're from. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the cryptids that are around Florida, what have been reported, what have been seen. And Michael, go ahead and get us started.
Yeah, and do bear with us. This is our first shot. We are going to be making some changes as we go forward. But yeah, there are a couple.
Okay if I vape, you think?
I
Or would
don't
you
care.
prefer me not to?
I don't care.
Okay, cool.
I mean, your kids do. Your kids know. I was going to say your kids do it. Now your kids know you do it, and I think so. Nephews. So
Nathan can do some pretty sick clouds. Don't do that. It's not funny.
no, we're going to keep it primarily clean as much as possible. We've got too many people in our clan that are under the age of 10. So trying to make sure everybody can watch it.
Yeah. Okay.
So family-friendly entertainment. Talking about
That's where we're
cryptids.
going to put that wow sound in.
Yeah.
Really entertainment. Wow. Yeah, it's going to be pretty bad.
Yeah. This is all staying in.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So Florida actually has a pretty decent amount of cryptids in the state. I was actually very surprised when we were doing the research for it. So one of the ones that is most prevalent, though, is the skunk ape or Sasquatch, or there are a couple different things that people call them, like the tall man, if you are from the Seminole tribe that used to be in the Floridian Panhandle.
You said that Florida's the biggest state, well, second biggest state with the largest amount of reported sightings of a Sasquatch or skunk ape. I mean, even when I worked up in Georgia, I had guys that lived up there that would say that he heard stories of people talking about the skunk ape that were from Florida when they would bring up Sasquatch.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that dude looked like a Sasquatch himself, though. He's pretty big, pretty hairy dude.
That's why people thought they saw him.
Yeah,
They just saw him
probably.
walking around. So yeah, it's actually very interesting. The sightings go back, back to, like I said, Native Americans. I think one of my first sightings here in my notes. That is not the notes there. Yeah, we're going to be doing this a little bit differently in the future for sure.
Probably PowerPoints or actually having like...
handwritten notes will probably be where I want to go.
Yeah.
Just so I can actually look down and talk about what we're doing.
Yeah. And then if we eventually get this hooked up to it, we can blast the photos or the things. Or...
Yeah. I mean, it'd be nice to be able to... I'd love to have a secondary screen, like an actual TV monitor where we could cast pictures
cool.
to.
Okay.
Stuff like that. That'll all come in time, though. So... some of the first sightings, like I said, the Seminoles, they used to be around in Florida. They were making notations of this thing for years, like hundreds of years, and they were calling it the tall man, which is in their original dialect called the SD Kapaki. I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher that. Kapkaki. Kapakaki. No, it's not an A in there. Kapkaki. Yes. I'm trying so hard, okay? Shut up.
Okay.
So, what's cool about that, though, and this kind of goes along with a lot of Native American, folklore and legends, is the tall man, stone giants, and wendigos, stuff like that. So,
yeah,
that's kind of what they attribute it to, is a cannibalistic giant of sorts.
So, what did you look up anything else about, like what Wendigo is or what that means in different places?
Yeah, I mean, I know. I mean, I've done research and I've listened and seen stuff about what the Wendigo is in different cultures. So, I mean, with the Wendigo, what they, folklore leads you to believe, or if this is how it happens, nobody knows. But I think people have, Wendigos are set up from someone who creates commits a horrible sin or an act of like a taboo sin, like eating human flesh is about the biggest one. So a cannibal, or someone who defaults to, instead of dying from starvation or something like that, out of dying in honor, basically, resorts to cannibalism and killing their own tribe. And that's what forms
spawns the Wendigo.
Yes.
And okay, that makes sense.
And there's a bunch of different depictions of them. A lot of them, for some reason, end up having elk heads for some reason.
I've seen that actually, and that I think can go back to. There's been other things like that. Have you ever watched or played The Witcher and stuff like that?
No.
There's I can't remember where they get the monster story from, but there's basically like this wood nymph or like this wooden deity type thing, some type of spirit, and it has a deer head, and it is insanely big and can really mess people up. And I think it's kind of weird because that kind of reverses around different places.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. Is if there's a moniker of truth in there somewhere of just like where somebody might have been a guy at one point who was just like, you know what, I could wear this deer head as a head.
I'm gonna put this on as a helmet.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna scare people so I can eat their food because I'm starving.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
you never know. So one of the first known and reporting sightings was actually back in 1818 of what people were going to call, and the term skunk ape didn't come around until like the 1940s, 1950s.
That's what they call it beforehand. Weird thing.
Big ape,
big
something like that.
Thing?
Something like they didn't understand. So they occurred in the Appa. And I should have done more grammatical things here.
Do you want to zoom it in so you can read it better?
No, I know what it says. I can read.
I'm going to need it zoomed in.
Oh, you're going to...
I'm trying to look at it, and it's like all coming in blurry.
It's all blurry? Okay, hold on.
Yeah, glasses only work looking directly at things.
Okay.
That's so much better.
Apalachicola.
Apalachicola.
I already said it once.
I'm pretty sure it's Apalachicola.
Apalachicola. Either way, they heard about 5 foot tall and baboon shaped. So what's funny about that is, first of all, the first circus and or zoo wasn't in Florida until the 1920s.
So there's no
reason there would be a baboon down there.
That's true.
So in 1818 at least. The second sighting happened about in 1883, 1884, seen around the Ochasee Pond. So what's cool about that, apparently, some former Confederate soldiers actually caught it.
What?
And killed it. Yes. They sent it off to Tallahassee. Tallahassee scientists at the time had no idea what it was.
What?
Yeah.
Does it exist still? Can we find its remains?
Can't find any pictures of it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so there is... So they thought it was just a very hairy dude that was from an asylum of some kind.
Because he was crazy.
Yeah.
But it looked like enough to where they thought it was an actual guy?
Yep.
I don't like that.
I know. That was the weirdest thing I'd found about this whole thing. Fast forward into like the 1920s, there was actually a report, 1930, 1940s. There's a report of an ape-like creature hopping on the back of someone's vehicle and hitching a ride. No, on the back of a ferry, I'm sorry. And hitched a ride and then hopped off.
So here, this is the crazy thing, too, about what it could be and what it possibly couldn't be. I think it might be an ape of some sort. I don't know. I mean, we keep finding remains and stuff of different things that shouldn't be where they're at and vice versa. So, but it is kind of weird to think that something would be so, evasive. Yeah. And be that big. That doesn't really make that much sense.
Yeah, it doesn't seem more like if it's a predator, like if it's something that big, forward-facing eyes, huge, I mean, it's a predator, what the heck does it have to be scared of? But then again, bears are scared of pretty much everything. You can freak them out and you're as small as we are.
Unless it's a brown bear.
Well, brown bears, yeah,
then
you'll die.
So,
you just die.
Yeah.
So next reported sighting was in the 1940s.
Okay.
A guy actually hit the skunk ape, or hit a animal creature of some kind with his vehicle. He thought it was a person, and at the speed he was going, he thought he would have killed it. But it hopped back up, roared at his vehicle, and then it tried to attack it, and then it ran off.
Oh, dang.
There are police reports and sightings of a creature limping down the highway after that, though. Many different people reporting it.
Wow.
Yes, there is a lot more evidence than I thought pointing to the possible existence of this creature.
Glad I grabbed 3 different things then.
Yeah.
Because mine don't
have that much evidence?
Nope.
It's so weird. I mean, you do a little bit of digging into it and you realize that there's a lot more out there than we think.
That's funny.
After that, the most recent sightings, the most recent and purported sightings is back in the 1970s. It's It's a pretty recent thing.
Okay.
And people, what's his name? His name is Joel. Excuse me. It's not Joel. I had it pulled up, and all my stuff got taken off last night. So I'll go into it in just a second. Dadgummit. It's going to be one of the first stories you pull up, though, because it's the most important. I had to do a lot of digging to find the other ones last night. I still don't like that one. That one's stupid.
Yeah, that one doesn't make sense. So we were looking into this one. I don't know if you could see that. Probably not. Oh, let me see the remote so I can zoom in for the people. So, so when we eventually get this set up the way that we want with like TVs and stuff like that, so this one popped up. Oddly enough, when we were looking into it, or when I was looking for different cryptids to look at, the black screen. Oh, yeah, it got smaller. All right, zoom here. Scroll. Just scroll. Okay, it's really pretty bad. But anyways, I was looking into different cryptids, and there was this one called type of. It's either called bear dogs or dog bears, but they're more primarily seen actually up in the north. So with the further down the line that we get with this, we'll get to those different types of cryptids up in the icy states. Because I'm pretty sure, when it gets really dark outside and cold, nobody wants to go outside. And that's when the best stories come out about what could possibly be outside.
Oh, yeah. I mean, shoot, you see so many different creepy things. Like, even when I lived in Virginia, that's when I ended up driving out really early one morning, and I could have sworn I saw either a mountain lion or something like that in somebody's, and the person, like, when you pull out of that gravel drive and you go to that main highway.
Yeah.
That house that's right there, there was a deer statue, and there's another deer statue, and they've always been there.
Yeah.
There was something with the head of a bobcat or like a mountain lion of some kind, literally just laying there. Really
hey,
weird.
That's been known to happen, buddy. My buddy Hugh that I worked with back in Georgia, the guy who said the thing about the skunk ape, showed me a picture, and he was saying, "Yeah, I didn't think I had a cat. It was a bobcat.
He had a bobcat?
It was a straight up bobcat on his porch." So, yeah.
That's pretty good. So, okay. So this is...
Oh, man, he's got a whole website.
Yeah, so this
Look out, Sasquatch.
Okay, is this the guy here?
Dave
Shealy. Okay,
that was nowhere close to Shoal. I wonder... Joel, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it had an E in it. And an L. Shut up. Anyway, so Dave Shealy, he reported
also
back
known
in the
as
70s.
Joel.
His middle... No, it's... I wish it was. It made me so much happier. So he reported back in the 70s, him and his older brother were hunting in the Everglades. He was too short to see it over the grass, so his brother had to pick him up, and then he saw the skunk ape moving from across the, about 100 yards away.
Okay.
So crazy encounter. That's when the term skunk ape kind of got coined, and people just kept referring it to that. He's seen it supposedly 2 more times. Wait,
why do they call it the skunk ape?
Oh, it smells terrible.
Oh, I thought it was going to be... Because you said they were hunting, right?
They were hunting, but they weren't hunting the skunk ape.
Yeah, I know, but I was going to say, have you ever heard the term being skunked? It's where you go out to hunt, and you get nothing.
Oh, is that what that means?
Yeah, so...
Okay, it's not correlated at all.
Okay, never mind then.
But it's okay. It's a good anecdote.
Well, I was just saying, because, if he saw it and then they didn't get anything, I would call it a skunk ape, too, because it caused them not to get their food, but...
No, it's truly because it smells so bad.
That's funny.
So it's anytime anybody encounters what they think could have been it, all they can remember is just how bad it smelled and how big the creature was.
Oh, jeez.
Screw the mic.
No. I was saying, gee, that's gross. I mean, for you to be able to, look at something... and then kind of forget almost everything else because the stench is so terrible.
So yeah,
I mean, that kind of happens because, when you open up a trash can, right, and you get so when you open up a trash can and you get hit with a stench, do you really remember what you saw on the top of the trash can, or do you just remember old milk cheese smell?
I guess. But
yep, there you go.
I don't study the top of the trash can.
I don't either, but I'm just saying.
It's really weird.
I don't know. It just makes sense to me. If it's that bad, even if it was something terrifying, you would probably only remember that if it was that terrible.
I guess that's true.
So.
But yeah, people say that the Shelley guy, or did I say Shealy, they're saying could,
Joel.
Shut up. They're saying he made all this stuff up. He's just doing it to, promote himself, sell T-shirts, stuff like that. But he stayed pretty consistent in his story. Okay. Other people are still reporting it being seen, and it's not just in the Everglades either. It's all around the country, all around the state, which I think is pretty interesting. So you got people as far down south as the Everglades, and as far west as Tallahassee reporting the similar type creature.
And that's weird though, because I don't understand.
The thing is that you think about all the marsh. I guess they're not technically marshlands, but whenever you go to like Fernandina Beach and you've got those areas of real tall grass with kind of marshy water.
It's the same thing if you're going down the 10.
Yeah.
And you're coming across. It's the same type of stuff.
Same type of stuff as the Everglades.
That's true.
It's just much bigger.
Well, it's much bigger. It's a different type of swamp. But I mean, it's just an open. It's an open swamp basically.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the trees and everything.
Yeah, and there's so much land out there too that people aren't allowed to build on.
So we wouldn't know what's out there anyways.
Exactly, and the reason they're saying that the sightings of the skunk ape started to go up from the 70s on was the fact that we...
Can you tap your mic real quick? These things turned off.
Your headset's turned off?
Yeah.
That's weird. Mine's still on. Oh. I was muted.
The whole time?
Not for that whole time.
Are you sure?
Yeah, hold on. We'll have to look and see how long I was muted for. Oh, jeez! Hold on.
Scroll back.
I'm trying. Oh, no.
Okay.
Well, crap.
Well, I think it picked up a majority of it.
I know I muted myself when we zoomed in because I went to, like, blow my nose a little bit.
Okay, that was back when we were talking about the picture of the skunk ape.
Yeah.
So...
I didn't bring up the Sheely stuff. Oh, no, I brought the Sheely stuff afterwards.
Yeah.
Bart.
All right, so... Just... It's okay.
Okay.
So... we'll go back over that, and maybe we can go in and look at the voice file from mine.
Yeah.
Pick up where
I'll
you're
see if
talking,
I can pick it up.
try to boost it up, see if we can clean it up in that way.
Yeah. So,
you dumb.
I can't believe I did that. I mean, I can believe I did that.
I should have noticed it a long time ago, but...
yeah, you didn't say anything.
Yeah, because I was like, it's really quiet. I was like, am I like having it turned down? So
yeah,
that's better. Okay, I can hear you a lot now.
Okay, that's good. Okay. So anyway, back to the legend of the skunk ape. As far as when it first started, holy crap, I can hear myself really well now.
Yeah, I know.
That's really loud. Yours isn't that loud, is it?
It's pretty loud.
Do you need me to turn it down?
No, that's fine.
Is it better?
I could just hear the other sounds.
Yeah, I think I need to turn off the AC.
That's okay. We'll go back through and scrub it.
Scrub! So, yeah.
Wait, he has a store?
Yes, he has a store. He sells T-shirts. He sells a bunch of different stuff around the skunk ape. So that's why
Sheely guy.
Yeah, Sheely. So that's why people think it could be just for fun or something like that. He does have a couple of videos.
Can you play them?
There is a video that he has of him, seeing it supposedly. He has a zoo too, which is pretty cool.
Is it on his website?
I don't think so. Let me see.
Would we get in trouble for that?
Probably. So I won't show it.
Okay, so if you want to,
if you search the skunk ape Sheely on YouTube, you'll find his really crappy video of what. I'm sorry, it's really bad quality. It's always. I want to believe that these things exist.
Yeah, but it's always a blurry camera.
It's not a camera like this.
No, it's like a blurry camera from the 1940s when they first.
It's like, man, I just woke up. It's 2018. Oh, I want to go hunting today. Might as well grab my VHS tape player. Let's go take that out, honey.
Honey, go get the cassettes. I need to make sure I've got enough.
That's what I mean.
So if you guys want to check out more of this stuff, go to skunkape.info. How is that a domain?
He bought it. Anything's a domain if you pay enough for it.
I've just never. Okay, whatever.
So yeah, I mean, and then that takes us to, I think the most recent one was the Mayaka. It was Mayaka in Florida sighting, and it was a woman who just said it was an ape. She didn't call it the skunk ape. She didn't call it a Sasquatch. She didn't know what it was. But that takes us to this picture here.
That's not the picture.
Shut up. This takes us to this picture here. So
wait, is this supposedly real?
Yes, this is real. This is what she caught on her. I was zooming out too much. This is what she caught on her security tape footage.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought that was made off of I thought that was a crappy movie that they made about it. That's even more terrifying now. Actually,
no, that's the Mayaka picture. From which there's two of them. There's one of it moving, it's two different frames, so you can see it move open.
Is that its arm right here? It almost looks
yeah, that's its arm. It looks like it's hunched over.
It looks like it's hunched over like an actual, almost like a gorilla or something.
Yeah.
And then, that would be the bottom of his jaw.
Yep, those are his teeth. It's a creepy thing. It's terrifying.
Dude, that does look like... That looks like a gorilla that escaped from somewhere.
Well, and that's the thing, too. She thinks it could have been an escaped orangutan.
Well, that's what I mean. But I don't...
But the markings don't...
Pull up a picture of an orangutan. Pull that up.
Jamie!
Jamie.
We don't have a Jamie.
We don't have a Jamie yet. Orangutan. Can you spell? You're really hoping it finished it for you, didn't you?
I really did, because it's spelled with a U.
Okay. Give me that.
No.
Give me it. So go to... No. Not that one. Not that one.
Sorry.
Go to... We need one where its face is tilted the same way-ish.
See, this one's face is too long. You know what I mean?
But look at the beard. Look at that.
Yeah, I see the beard of this one.
But his face is too wide.
Yeah, see?
Now...
Skunk...
Why you have a photo. Put up both of them side by side.
Oh, yeah.
See, and his eyes are pretty close together. His eyes are more that of like an actual, like a silverback gorilla. Like,
yeah, they're wide,
a very flatter face.
Yeah.
Wider eyes, bigger mouth.
He does kind of have a beard.
Kind of has a beard.
But it looks like that's part of his... Because this is what I thought it looked like. He was hunched over, like you said, like that's his back.
Like almost like he's got his arms closer to the ground. Not necessarily putting them on the ground, but still walking.
It's like he's hunched over, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's pretty interesting.
It's cool.
But yeah, so there are, I mean... So I guess this is where we just... As far as...
Your mic cut out again. Oh, there you go. Oh.
So, yeah.
Excuse me. So, this is where we'll... it would take us into the discussion part of,
the possibility of an existence, what it could actually be, stuff like that. I mean, with the amount of reports, that I was able just to find in my, short time of researching, which I should have spent much more time. But anyway.
Same here.
In the amount of time that I spent researching it, you could find different reports from, 100 years ago. Like I said, the ones from 1818, 1820, or excuse me, 1880, and then you had them in the early 1900s. Then you had them as late as 1970, and then more recently in the 2000s. People are still seeing this thing. And what is that?
So,
people have found a new ape?
That's what I'm looking at. Because the main reason why I bring this up is because there is a lot that we don't know about about things, and in general.
That's a really old one from 2004.
It's still not that old. Oh man, I guess you know what? That is 16 years ago. However, I mean, they say they believe they found a new group of giant apes in the jungles of Central Africa.
This is the BBC.
Yeah, this is from BBC.
We'll have
BBC.
links to where we pulled our info from.
Yeah. So this thing says it's up to 2 meters tall, 6.5 feet.
Holy crap.
85 to 102 kilograms.
Wait. 2 meters tall is not 6.5 feet?
Yes, it is.
No, 2 meters. A meter is longer than 3 foot, isn't it?
Yeah, so two of them would be a little bit over 6 feet.
No, I thought a meter was almost like 4 feet.
No, a meter's... I'm not going to pull out Google right now to do this.
No, I am, but now I feel stupid.
Yeah, you should. Well, anyways, so they're 6.5 feet, 102 kilograms, about 224 pounds, right? Uh-huh. That's a pretty big, pretty big thing. I mean, again, this is from 2004 or whatever, but I'm just saying that we don't really know everything as much as we like to think, but like you said, in the Everglades, we don't.
Yep.
You're an idiot.
Shut up.
So,
it's 3.2 something.
There's things that we don't know, and I don't think there's going to be anything that we actually truly know completely about this place and about the animals that we live with, and the fact that the realm of possibility and the realm of belief, I understand. Whether or not it's an actual skunk ape, or it's an actual thing like that, or whether it be, some type of primate that we haven't found yet.
Well, the thing is, too, there's bears in Florida.
Yeah.
So, but, that picture there, I would never want to see a bear that looked like that.
No.
So that's a terrifying creature.
No, that's a Chernobyl bear.
Yeah.
that's a bear that'll talk to you in Russian and then kill you.
Yeah, right. So, I don't know. There's a couple different things it could be. Like I said, there was a lot more supposed evidence.
Well, yeah.
So it's just an interesting thing. So, but yeah, so what do you have? I mean, that's really all I had for the skunk ape.
You got way more than I do. So, man, that's interesting. So there's since skunk ape is the biggest thing in Florida, I think that's why I haven't really found anything else.
Yeah, there's so many reports of it.
Yeah, that's another one. So I found one labeled Moss Man. Moss Man, actually, what I found out was also part of the He-Man universe. Like, there's an actual character called Moss Man in the He-Man universe.
Okay.
But when this was originally found, this was spotted in 1978.
Okay. That was the first time it was saw?
That was the first time it was spotted.
I said first time it was saw. That was incorrect.
That was the first time it was sighted, yeah. It was back in October 12th, 1973. Over that time then, since then, there's been 31 other sightings of the creature.
This is Beast of Bears.
Oh, that's Beast of Bears, excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so stupid. I apologize. Yeah, 1978.
Okay.
So the story goes that these people were enjoying a picnic or something down by the lake, and basically noticed a human-shaped figure laying in a raincoat on the ground. Okay. So they didn't think of anything of it until it stood up and stared at them, and then what they thought was a raincoat was actually the moss attached to its skin. And then when they left, because they just saw some crazy monster on the ground. They bolted, came back, and the only thing they found on the ground was Spanish moss, which gave it the term Moss Man. The closest encounter that happened was in 1980. Elderly couple, they were walking, and then let's see. It was a 67-acre coastal park built for the environment education purposes, and it had a 20-acre nature reserve on it. So when they were walking through there, she had the creature pretty close in front of her, but it didn't really know they were there. And then it spun around and, screeched and left.
Okay.
So it's like it doesn't want to be seen by people. So back in 1980, there was this kid named Greg Jerkins. I thought this was pretty interesting. He was actually on the hunt for a Moss Man. Okay. And this kid, he took a break from military school. He thought it was a really interesting thing and decided to look out for it. And according to the ranger, the demon-eyed monster is the result of an ancient Native American curse dating back many hundreds of years. Which is actually, I think it's kind of interesting, because they bring it back to the Spanish conquistadors when they first came over here to establish and conquer in the 1500s. And it talks about how, they kidnapped a girl, and they did some very not nice things to her. Family friendly. And they cut her head off and then attached her to a tree.
They cut her head off first?
No, after.
Okay, I was gonna say after. Now, as there would be any sort of sort of pomp and circumstance to murdering someone and putting them on a tree. I just feel like it's weird if you were to cut their head off first and then put them on a tree.
Yeah.
So that's
yeah. So
don't mean to be critiquing.
They killed her by cutting off her head, and then they tied her to a tree.
No, you said it backwards again. They tied her to the tree and then cut off her head.
Oh.
Or does that say that they cut off her head and then tied her to a tree?
Killing her, cutting off her head. Okay. Oh, they didn't tie her to the tree. I read it wrong. They tied her head to the tree.
Oh my gosh, just her head?
Just her head.
Oh.
So, and this is all just a curse. This is all folklore. But, however, that is still horrifying.
Pretty metal.
So, it's
pretty,
So what they talked about now is that what happened, and the reason why Mossman exists, is because with her death, basically she cursed them. She cursed the land because of them being here in the first place, and that her severed head took root into the tree.
Huh.
And that her spirit became infused with the plant life in the area. Huh. So allowing the vegetation to come up onto something, creating something, and making an entity known as Mossman. Mm. So then again, it could also be... I like how this throws it in there. It could also be Bigfoot or another ape-like creature, like the skunk ape. So
everything ties back to the skunk
ape. As it were, it ties back to the skunk ape. Secondly...
It's because he's real.
Possibly. So this other one. This one I actually really enjoyed looking at and reading about.
Which one is this?
I didn't do... Oh, this one is called Two-Toed Tom. Two-Toed Tom is based off an actual alligator.
Okay.
It was a very, very large alligator that lived around the Florida-Alabama border. Mm. He only has 2 toes and a very, very strong mouth. Okay. Some reports claim that he's 30 feet long.
That's
which is
terrifying.
4.5 meters in length, and has been terrorizing the town for decades from which it was found.
Wait, you said 30 feet long?
30 feet long.
That's not 4 meters.
4.5 meters.
That's not 30 feet.
Yeah. Why does it say that? 30 feet long.
4.5 meters in length?
Maybe that means... Like
width?
Head? No. I think
that's really wrong.
I think that means head to like base of tail, and then that's total tail.
Why would they have to? No, I'm pretty sure the person just didn't know how to do their conversion.
Oh, well, I guess it also
meters.
Just say some reports claim that he's 30 feet long. Others probably say 4 to 5.
It's not
4.5.
No, that's supposed to be it's in commas. It's within that little parameter of, like, I went outside to feed the ducks today.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. So it's supposed to be 30 feet, 4.5 meters. Yeah, that's really wrong. Because if I just did the math, 1 meter is 3.2 feet.
Yeah, it should be like 9.14.
Yeah.
That's weird. Okay, well, anyways, so...
Whoever wrote this was drunk.
Whoever wrote this did not know... I mean, I don't know.
They didn't know how to do conversions like I did using my phone.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't read it still.
You need to zoom in?
Shut up.
Blind eyes?
That's better.
Gosh, you were blind.
Shut up.
Holy crap.
So,
I could stand in the kitchen and read that.
So some have indicated it wasn't really just an alligator by itself. It had red eyes, super strong, could tear a horse in half with its teeth only. Hmm. And I don't want to bring up the other thing that I told you about before.
That's right.
Because that's just adding fuel to a weird fire that they put together with this.
Yeah, I don't think it could be... So
it's more of like... that's part of the legend. But in reality, I do believe that this thing actually existed. Two-Toed Tom does sound like an actual alligator.
Sounds, as big as they found some of them to be, I could see that being very true.
Do you read this part right here? Alone in the swamps, and an alligator does that.
Yeah, I
don't
think
believe
so.
that.
So one of the things he's talking about is, I think it's still considered family friendly.
I'm not going to say it.
It's a crime.
Yeah.
It would create a crime against women.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. It would do a crime against a woman in the middle of the swamp.
But this story goes back pretty far, though, because it says during the 1900s is when he was tearing stuff up. Mm-hmm. Some people were saying that he was a demon sent from hell itself.
Yeah.
And then, I
feel like there's more efficient demons you can send than an alligator.
So tracks, and another thing that alludes to the possibility of this being real and just an alligator that exists is that there were tracks found in the 1980s, as recently as the 1980s, of a massive alligator with only 2 toes in the front. Now, and that's kind of a dumb thing to say. it's still a cool story. I like the story just because it's interesting.
So they found an alligator with 2 toes?
They found tracks of it. However, alligators territorial. They're cannibalistic. They'll eat the smallest one so they can continue to be the alpha. So it's not impossible to say that an alpha that was in multiple fights getting to the size that he is didn't lose a toe or two.
That's true.
It's possible. Hold on, and then
he would have lost his toe and still lost the fight. You know how annoying that would have been?
He wouldn't have lost the... Oh, yeah. Like, he would have
lost a toe and still won.
That's true. So, here's another story.
That picture has 4 toes in the front.
Oh, well, yeah, look at that. Yeah, because the picture of skunk ape's real. That one might be.
Yeah, I was just saying.
But in reality, like, there was an actual bounty put out for this thing.
Oh, crap, really?
Out for this town, yeah.
Okay, now that's interesting.
So the locals want to take matters into their own hands. Hefty bounty was proposed for Two-Toe Tom. And but it says, despite the use of guns and dynamites, nobody could kill it. And the beast would wreak havoc.
What?
I said dynamites.
Dynamites. You got guns and your dynamites.
Anyways, they said it still messed people up for about 20 years after that.
That's crazy.
Despite being told that Tom was a myth, Pap, who is Pap Haynes, is a farmer who bought 40 acres of land up near the Florida-Alabama border. He saw that some of his mules were torn apart. There were two-toed paw prints and blood that led to a pond. And he decided to kill the monster. With the help of his sons, they filled up 15 syrup buckets with sticks of dynamite and tossed them into the pond, hoping to kill it.
What's a syrup bucket?
I don't know what a syrup bucket is. But hey, you know what? It said that they used it. Wait, oh, wow. Leaving it seemingly impossible for anything to survive. However, screaming was heard from the nearby pond, another pond. He and his sons were face to face with the remains of his 12-year-old granddaughter, to come to see what the commotion was all about. Which means that Two-Toe Tom knew of their intentions.
What?
And he became murderous.
And
tricked them. Yeah.
That's so dumb. There's no way.
Yeah, so again, this is why it is a legend. It is very vague and doesn't make any sense. It is interesting, though.
It is interesting.
And I think that, in fact, even though it is a legend, but that's where a lot of our good monster stories come from, or things that did exist in the past or have existed. So, not to say that, an alligator had red eyes and possibly did have 2 toes.
I mean, could never be killed.
I've seen saltwater crocs before over in Australia. Those are mean. Those get very, very big. And it's not... alligators and crocodiles are pretty much the same. It's just alligators live over here.
You're going to make a lot of crocodile fans really mad with that one.
Yeah.
Don't you say my crocodile's like an alligator. Don't you say that.
So lastly...
They only look alike.
Lastly... So again, but we'll talk about the actuality of all of these afterwards.
Yeah.
Moss Man was a fun one. So this one I actually really like. This one's pretty cool.
Okay.
This one's called the Beast of Bears is what it's called. And from what people have said about it, it has a pungent smell. Goes back to skunk ape possibly. But is usually seen with missing patches of fur, huge scars all over its body, and it's usually seen around swamps and other various parts of the deep woods. It basically looks like a super bear, like a hulked out bear.
That's terrifying.
That has been through so many battles that it's scarred up, missing chunks of fur and stuff, and is just mad all of the time. So the funny thing is, like, not only is it seen here, but it's seen in Texas, Virginia, and possibly Arkansas. Which I think really any place that has the possibility of bears being in that area, but then that would include a majority of the North America.
Gotcha.
So it's been theorized. Okay, and they bring up Mothman. It also has red eyes, which I think a lot of things that people see, they just imagine that it has red eyes. However, coyotes actually have orange eyes.
What's weird, though, about that, though, is when you go, and this is just into the paranormal stuff, anytime someone thinks they see a demon or a shadow person in their home,
it has red eyes.
Yes.
And
so I guess there's something there.
I think it's probably something worth what we believe evil to be.
Maybe.
So So sightings. One of the first sightings was ever seen was in actual Texas back in 1973. I know we're in Florida, but we're getting there. Since then, there was 31 sightings that were made of the creature from those other neighboring parts of the country. The most recent of which was back in 2012 in Crestview, Florida. And
is there a picture?
I believe that is a picture of what they think it to be, but in all reality, it looks like a bear. However,
does it have a welding mask on?
It's in a trash can.
Oh, okay. Oh, let me see.
So it's in a trash can. I mean, you can kind of see where it looks like.
I'm gonna zoom in.
Zoom.
Okay. Yeah, you can see it. So there's the outline of it there.
Yeah, and this is its head in the trash
can. That is a bear shape. Now, I think it does go without saying that there are bears in Florida.
Yeah.
There. I mean, you'll go down I-10 and you'll start seeing all these.
There'll be a sign for
caution bears.
Now, I was going to say though, before you zoom that back out, it does look like there's weird dark patches on it.
Yeah, but it's nighttime and it's a night vision camera.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that the fur would change color. If it's a brown bear, it's a brown bear. If it's a black bear, it's a black bear. We don't have calico bears.
True.
So what I'm saying is there are patches of fur that look like they might be messed up or something. So I don't know if this is an actual sighting of what it could possibly be.
Okay.
But if it is, that's terrifying, and I don't want any part of that.
Well, no.
So this is another artist rendition of it. It's a big hulking bear. It's massive.
Jeez.
And that's just a picture of a brown bear.
It's just a picture of a bear.
So it's kind of cool. So there's not really any evidence that it is a hoax because, I mean, we don't really know what it is.
There isn't any evidence that it's a hoax?
That it's not a hoax. Because even though the first official sighting is 1973, there's been no really disputed evidence against it. People are like, yeah, it's a massive bear.
Okay.
But they don't really know whether it's just a regular bear or if it's Chernobyl bear.
Chernobyl bear.
And actually, and it goes back to some of the Native Americans, there's Inuit stories about giant bears who would drag people under the water and drown them and then eat them.
Okay.
And though it's never been proven, people go around, people have been known to go missing around some of these areas. And even though they're not listed really as bear attack areas. So like swamps and stuff, you wouldn't imagine a bear in a swamp. That's not really where they would want to be at.
Well, it's funny you say that, but, for the longest time, I don't think anybody would ever think that a bear would be in the Arctic regions either.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So it's funny. I mean, it goes back to, we just don't know what's out there. I mean, the amount of the planet that has been explored and places that haven't. I mean, Antarctica hasn't been explored all that well.
That's true.
I mean, and this is completely off the, but, well, it is.
It's not really, because...
So, the ocean is another one. It's like 80% of it or something, like 88% of that's not been explored.
I want to say it's a bigger number. I think
it's 80. I think it's 88.
I thought it was closer to, 94.
Either way, it's higher than... It's higher than 15%. Only about 15% has ever been really seen.
Sorry, I sighed, so I muted myself.
I was wondering why I got really quiet.
Yeah.
No, so... Yeah, I think it's really funny. There's so many different things that it could possibly be. I mean, all the stuff that we talked about seems pretty scarily possible.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I like the idea, even though the two-toed Tom story has a lot of weird inconsistencies and being, 30 meters by 4.5 meters or however well they want to say
30
it.
feet by...
Yeah,
30 feet
by...
Or 4.5 meters.
Yeah. I guess it was a range, but backwards.
Yeah.
So the thing is, though, I guess like we're saying, is a lot of this stuff does seem like it could possibly be... I mean, the bear one, I think, is probably more believable out of most of them. Because we do know that bears are in each one of those states, and it might just be some giant bear.
Well, that to me, though, means...
Have you ever heard of a growler bear?
No.
Did you know that polar bears and grizzly bears are starting to mate?
What?
Polar bears and grizzly bears are starting to mate.
Aren't those both the most aggressive bears?
The biggest bears.
How the heck do they mate?
Because with...
In captivity?
No. In the wild? In the wild.
Oh god!
So what's happening is because
That's terrifying.
some of the polar bears aren't really finding food where they're at now.
Yeah.
They're coming further down south where there's tons of fish. So they're running into brown bears and grizzlies and stuff like that. And then they have growler bears.
How big are those things?
Let's go ahead and look.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
All right. Go.
Growler
bear.
Polar bear hybrid.
Or a pizzly. I like calling it growler.
A pizzly
doesn't sound as dumb.
Man, look at those colors, though. Oh, that thing's so cool looking.
Yeah, until you die.
Well, here's the thing. You know, and it's funny. You know, it goes back to the thing about, you know, dogs.
It's Nick Kroll. Okay, that's awesome.
That's a great picture. Oh
my
gosh.
Yeah.
That's just a grizzly bear.
These things are crazy, though.
Well, that's a grizzly bear.
Okay, shut up.
It's pretty crazy.
But the fact that these things are happening...
That's pretty nuts.
Because it doesn't look like a polar bear. Look at his face.
Also, SciShow, one of my favorite YouTube channels. Yes.
Look at his face, though.
It's a grizzly bear face.
That's a grizzly face on a massive polar bear body.
But this is what I'm getting at. So, you know, you take dog breeds, for instance. The most, friendly and the most nice dog breeds are the mutts. So maybe...
No. No, it's not going to be nice.
Maybe it will be nice.
No, it won't. Unless, you mix it with a black bear. Black bears are really skittish around humans. I'd throw a panda.
Why would you want, a skittish... I would hate to have something with the size of in ferocity.
Because imagine it trying to run away. It can't. It's too big. It's going to trip on itself.
Look at that guy.
They're huge, man. That's a sloth.
It's a sloth bear.
That's a good image. Look at that. Look at that.
Look at that face.
Terrifying.
Oh, it looks cuddly. Cuddly?
Yeah.
Cuddly.
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 But yeah, so that's all I really had.
Okay, cool.
When it comes to that portion. Let's see here. What we got next? Repeat 5. Okay.
We did that.
All right. So what state are we doing next? We're just going to go alphabetical? Or are we going to go let's do alphabetical.
Yeah, it might be easier. Florida. Yeah, well, I want to start... We're both Florida natives, so it thought it'd be fun to start in a place that we're from.
It's called Cryptwins. So they know that we're related.
Yeah.
So it'd be weird that if you were native to Florida and I wasn't.
I didn't say that I was.
You said we're both native to Florida.
No, I said we're Florida natives. I didn't say we're both.
Yeah.
All right, so this is what I'll be dealing with.
Yeah, this is fun.
So anyway, that's why I wanted to start with Florida. I thought it'd be fun to start with stuff that was kind of around where we've been. And
also going to make me think a little bit differently when I look into the woods at night.
Yes, that's my main
especially
reason.
the skunk ape thing.
Isn't that one
skunk
scary?
Ape is not one of my favorites right now because I didn't realize that was an actual photo from an actual...
And it's Mayaca, Florida. I believe I said that right.
Dude, look at that.
I know, isn't it creepy?
That is his face.
He just wants some food, man.
It's gross.
Just stealing a lady's apples.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, yeah, so the next state will be, I believe, in alphabetical order is Alaska?
Yeah. Ooh, Alaska is the one with the bear dogs.
Okay.
Alaska is the one with all the different type of, yeah.
We'll get into it.
We'll get into it. Ice giants. Abominable snowman.
Ice giants?
Yeah.
Is that? Well, you know, it's funny. Ice giants, is that like a Native American thing?
No, that's Vikings.
Vikings didn't go to Alaska.
I know that, but I'm just...
Anyway, we'll be in Alaska.
We'll be doing Alaska for the next one. So we're going to start doing a little bit more research. Maybe have it set up a little bit differently. We'll try figuring something out.
Yeah, it'll evolve. It'll evolve. Right now,
deal with it.
So it'll get better. We'll evolve through the episodes, and we'll get something, going.
If you think this is interesting, something you want to keep watching as we develop, go ahead and give us a like.
Give us a like.
Subscribe.
Slap that like button.
Slap the like. Why don't you just crush. I want you to take your hammer and annihilate the subscribe button. Have you seen? Because that's what they do. That's what they all do.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah. Just anyway, if you like it, go ahead.
Let us know. If you don't. Comment, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to figure it out. Trying to do. You know, we're gonna do it better. Like we said, we're gonna try and do better. And thanks for looking through these stories with us.
I love you.
Okay, we're not gonna keep.